Hello. So I'm making this video. It's kind of a behind the scenes of writing an email. So I love writing emails in my business. It's one of my favorite things to do. And I highly recommend that you write to your email list, that you cultivate that relationship because it's really the only platform that you can use to have a one-to-one conversation that still feels intimate. So it's like a 43-page document of emails. And I've been adding to this since March. Some of these I have sent already, like this one about Instagram, etc. Some of them I have not. This one is going out on Monday of next week. And I just scheduled that. So this one I'm working on right now. How do you have to move to Bali to be a success? That's my tentative subject line. So the way that this email came about is because earlier this week, I did a free workshop called How to Position Your Offers to Sell. And there was a 10-question document that we all filled out together on the workshop. That's basically the basis of your sales argument and what would go on your sales page. And it's how you differentiate your offer from everybody else's. So one of the questions on that doc is, what is your ideal client sick of hearing about the problem that you solve? So for example, we had a wellness coach on, and something that people are sick of hearing is, exercise is just about being consistent. And they're sick of seeing these pictures of, people posting their butts on Instagram, right? That kind of thing. And somebody else on the call is a business coach, and she's helping people who are in corporate go full-time in their business. She's helping people who are burnt out by doing low ticket, move to high ticket, all that stuff. And she was talking about this idea of, you have to move to Bali, right? It's like, that's the barometer of success, or like just that cliche in general that you see a lot, especially on social media of successful business owners. And I said, I know, isn't it annoying? Why can't they just be in a Starbucks in Ohio like a normal person? And so that's what is inspiring this email today. So I'm kind of stuck, right? So when you're writing an email, you might get to the end and you might be like, okay, but how does this tie back to my business? And sometimes when I start emails, not sometimes, most of the time when I'm starting an email, I have an idea. I have a story I want to tell. And as I'm typing it out, it will connect in my brain to some aspect of my business that I'm focusing on, right? To a point. Because in your emails, you always want, you kind of want the flow to be, I'm going to start typing, email flow. You want it to be a story or anecdote. How the heck do you spell that? And then you want to have what's called the turn or a segue. And then the so what, meaning what is this? What's in it for the person that's receiving the email, right? Like, what's the point of this? How does it connect back to your business? How does it connect ultimately to the goals of the people that you are serving through writing this email? So usually I only have this part. Like this part I figure out along the way. And I know some people usually start backwards and they work their way up. There's no right or wrong way. It's whatever works for you and however your brain works. So sometimes if you're stuck, try going the reverse order and see what you come up with. Something else that happens is that I just get stuck. I just get stuck, right? I get stuck and then I will just leave it. And maybe in a day or two, a week or two, even a month or two, I'll come back when I'm like, I need to email my list. All right. I'll scroll through this 47 pages and something will stand out and say, oh yeah, I never sent that one. And I'll revisit it. And when I revisit it, usually something clicks. So don't throw away stuff, right? Just keep this dump document. That's what I usually call these things. It's a brain dump. Just throw it all down here. And then some point when you come back, you'll be like, oh, actually, that's kind of a good idea. Maybe I can use that. So let's edit this together and let's see if I can come up with a point. And if I can't, then I'm going to just leave it and I'll go about my day and see what happens. This is a subject. Do you have to move to Bali to be a success? Bali, really? Why can't you work out of a Starbucks in Ohio like a normal person? Living a freedom lifestyle, running an online business from a pristine white beach next to turquoise waters has become a cliche. This probably has a little doohickey, like accento cosita, but I'm not going to deal with that right now. I have questions for the online business owner working from Bali. First, as someone who grew up near the beach, I can tell you that's a bad idea. How do you avoid sand in your keyboard? I have a bad habit. Okay. So I'm going to take out bad because I have a thing with repeating. I have a pet peeve about repeating words, right? So this is up here. I don't want it here again. So I have a habit of eating chocolate croissants while I work, and those little crumbs get everywhere. Imagine thousands of sand grains. That sounds awkward. Imagine thousands of sand grains all up in the gears of your MacBook. Imagine thousands of sand grains. Grains of sand. Imagine thousands of grains of sand all up in the gears of your MacBook. Okay. Imagine thousands. If you reading out loud also really helps. Imagine thousands of grains of sand all up in the gears of your MacBook. This is awkward. I'm going to come back to it later. So what I'm going to do is no, I don't want to do that. I do this and then I remind myself. Second, I'm sure Bali is beyond beautiful and everywhere you look is a Pinterest board waiting to happen, but that's not everyone's dream life. We each have a unique version of what success looks like. Maybe your ideal clients want to regularly dump. Maybe your ideal, see, I'm reading it out loud and I'm like, what are you saying, girl? Maybe your ideal clients don't want to regularly dump out sand from their laptop bags. Oh, I see what I was doing. Okay. Maybe your ideal clients want to regularly dump out sand from their laptop bags. Maybe they don't. It's your job as a business owner to know what it is they resonate with. What they resonate with. We can take that out. That's redundant. Okay. So this is where I'm at. This is all I got. Yeah, because this is a different email. Okay, sweet. So this is where I'm at. So right now I have a few directions that I can go in. And this is why knowing your core messaging is so important, because if you know your core messaging, then, and I mean know it, like if you know it, you really know it, and you're not wiffly waffly about it, but you really know it, then as you're writing, it will become easier because it's like your brain has the operating system ready to go. It's when you don't that it can be confusing and you're like, I don't know what to talk about, right? What do I talk about? You have to know the destination in order to be able to get there. And so right now, I don't know the exact destination, meaning I don't know exactly what aspect of my core marketing I'm going to play up on here. I have a few options, but I know more or less where we're going. Like we're going to a town. I just don't know which section of the town I'm going to. Okay. We're just going to feel it out because writing is a free flow process sometimes. It's not, doesn't always have to be super structured. Okay. So I have a few options here. Maybe your ideal client wants to, maybe you don't. So I have a few options. I can talk about knowing your ICA. I can talk about getting specific results. That's something that I talk about a lot. It's how to actually talk about the results and not be generic and too general. So an example of that would be when you are saying things like, oh, live your best life. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? Am I allowed to curse on these videos? Oh, well. I might get censored. Okay. Let's see. Getting specific results. Okay, that's a good one, right? That's something that we could do. Like, what does live your best life even mean? Okay, maybe your ideal clients want regular jump. To know what they resonate with. What? Oh yeah, this is something else I talk about. Dream scenarios. Stuff made for. I, 'cause, 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 ' So guys, right now what I'm doing is I'm just free flowing. And so this may not make sense at all. I have to go back and read it, but I'm not censoring myself. I'm just allowing myself to write. So that's a big mistake that I see people making when they're writing. It's like they're judging it too early. Just go with it. Even if you're like, I'm bouncing around between concepts, it doesn't really make sense. I don't know if, no. Shut that off. Tell that voice to be quiet and just keep moving with it and allow yourself to just go. We can always clean up later. You got to get messy in order to be able to get ordered. So just go. Get as specific as you can. Okay, so lower website. So I'm going to reread this so I can get back into my flow. Second, I'm sure Molly. Okay, yeah, I know what I was saying. Okay, sometimes when we're away from the okay. I'm not sure I'm loving this, to be honest. I'm not sure this really connects to the whole Bali thing. Like I have to find a way to bring it back. So let's just see what's happened, right? So we started with this concept of how moving to Bali is a cliche, right? In the online business world. Okay. And we talked about how that's not everyone's version of success. And then we get into understanding what your ideal client actually wants. Okay. And then I was going with this idea of the result, getting really specific about that result, that end result. Okay. Okay. And then I feel like this was a bit of a tangent here. Get as specific as you can about the result. Sometimes when you're far from a scenario, feel foreign to imagine it. So you're saying to your ideal client, work with me in my specialized 6-month containers. Also, don't bother fixing typos as you're going. Just leave it. That's what Grammarly is for. So you can live your best life, gives them heebie-jeebies. They might be so far removed from the concept of the dream life that they have no idea what you're talking about. It's too abstract. Okay. Ooh, lean into your message and be open to your offer. Okay. Knowing you're gay. Okay. How am I going to connect this to Bali? Oh, God, you see why Bali sucks. I've never been to Bali. I'm sure it's really beautiful. I'm sure it's gorgeous. My personal version of the move to Bali is like move to the British countryside and live in a gigantic country estate surrounded by beautiful land where you can go on these really long walks and just pretend that you're in a Jane Austen novel. That's my version of Bali. A glass of wine by a fireplace. But that's like a really long trip for my cats to make. So We just pretend here in Miami. Okay. Let's see. I hope this isn't too boring for you guys, but this is really the process. This is just the raw, uncut, unedited version, mainly because I don't know how to edit things. But also, I think it's a good example to see what really happens. You get to a dead end and you're like, how do I fix it? Okay, let's see. Okay, so I have this concept, nitty gritty 3D reality of what their life looks like after they work with you. Bali. Okay. This feels like it's a tangent. This is true, right? This is true. But I need to sort of, I feel like these are two separate concepts. And so I need to either cut this one or let's see what would happen if I did that. Okay. Let's see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just push this down. And then I'm going to cut this out. And I'm going to put this up here. Because this does tie into my concept of here. Because what I'm trying to say is that I want them to understand. I want this person reading this email to understand that when they're using generalized language, right, and it's not specific enough, that somebody can't connect to that. And when you can't connect to it because it's too general, you're not going to have a gut response to it, right? And so you need to get specific in your language. And so this was kind of just like an aside. Maybe I'll save this for some other time because this is absolutely true as well. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. Let's see. And I was just thinking something else. So too far away from the dream scenario. What the heck was I thinking? Ooh, what was I thinking? Okay, it'll come back to me. Okay. Question mark? Okay. So boom, this is going to go down. This is just going to be a random note for another time. So huérfano. Huérfano means orphan in Spanish. When I worked in corporate, when I worked in media / corporate, I had these two basically like online properties that I was managing, and we had to create over 250 pieces of content a month, like between the two of them. And it was like sometimes there would be things that didn't fit, or you would have like a title and the word would be at the bottom, and we would just call them like huérfanos. We were orphans. Anyway. Okay, back up here. They want something. Is it Bali? Okay, a certificate you can't run if it's too. Okay. If it's too abstract, they can't relate, therefore they can't have a gut response. You need to have a gut response to lead into your message and be open to your offer. For example, too abstract, they can't relate, therefore they can't have a gut response. That's a challenge because you need them to have a gut response to lead into your message. For example, let's say you have an ICA who does dream about it. not because what does this freedom lifestyle get them? Mm-mm. Okay. I feel stuck again, so I'm going to go up to the top. And I'm going to read from the top. Okay. Do you have to move to Bali to be a success? Bali, really? Why can't you work at a certain? Okay. So I'm going to, this is sometimes the process. I'm going to move this down because I'm not loving it. And so I think what I'm going to do is talk about my pebble and ripple effect theory. I made a video about it, but it's good to repeat concepts again and again in your business, especially if you have a concept that really illustrates what it is that you do and you know that it's a good concept. You have to repeat things again and again and again because that's how people learn, and that's how people eventually, especially if you're teaching something, they will get value out of it by seeing it presented in different formats. And you also have to understand, like, not everyone's going to see all of your stuff. That's a big thing that I think a lot of business owners, they get bored of their own content, and you want to be bored of your message, because if you're bored of your message, that means that you're repeating it often enough. So boredom in with your own message is good. Okay. It's good. It means you're repeating it enough. So I'm going to go into my pebble and ripple thing. Okay. Go. Okay. Think of the end result. Where do you draw pebbles? Lake? I don't know. Ripple? Perfect. Maybe the end result your eye see wants is a pebble. Drop a pebble into a lake and makes a ripple across water. The tangible effects of that result are the ripples. I think so. Are the ripples. Pebble equals I don't know if I want to do a fitness example. I'm trying to see if I could switch it up because I know that I have people on my list that are from all kinds of different industries. And so I don't want to just be like harping on the same thing over and over again. So let's think tangible effects of that result. Okay, pebble. What could I do? Leaving corporate. Okay. Example. Activity consultant. Okay. Pebble equals. What else would be ripples? And okay. So obviously this is like way too much stuff. So in formatting, I would probably fix this. Maybe I would do bullets or something like that. Okay. 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 What's the ultimate dream scenario? Not the internal stuff, like the nitty gritty 3D. Okay. So you see, it took a few passes, but now I'm feeling pretty comfortable that I've delivered on what I'm talking about in this email because I have here the nitty gritty 3D reality of what their life will look like after they work with you. And then we've gotten into this right here. This is pretty nitty gritty, right? So, okay, great. And this is how you connect ideas, right? As you're writing, you're like, okay, I said this, but like, did I really deliver on it? Okay, again, we're gonna go back to our little, where did it go? Oh, where did I put it? I don't know where I put it. Anyway, the so what. You have to have the so what in your emails, okay? I could go on a rant about Bali and that's fine, but I have to ground it back down and reconnect that to my business, right? Because if not, then why am I sending you this email? You know, unless like we're just pen pals, and that's cool. I love having pen pals. I actually think of my email list as like we're pen pals. But you know, there needs to be a point and there needs to be value in it for them at the end of the day, right? If not, I'm just like a random person on the internet shouting, and we don't need any more of those people. So, okay, they want to say get specific, but you can't give them. Okay. Okay, what I want to do is capitalize this because this is part of my concept. Okay. So once. Okay. And then I think I would just end there. So then I would do my sign off. Cheers. Sand relocation. Right. Sometimes if you feel like I didn't really bring this back to Bali necessarily at the end, and I like having that cadence. I like it when it works out that way. Sometimes it doesn't. Okay. So in this case it didn't. But if I can throw a little wink, this is like a little wink to the top of the email. It's like this is what we started off with, and we're just closing the loop. We're just coming back full circle a little bit. Okay. P.S. If you want help, let me know. Hearing, I love hearing from you. Or I might do like P.S. I don't know. I don't know what I would do for the PS. This is like something I would just figure out on the fly when I'm actually writing the email. All right, guys. So that was the behind the scenes. I don't know how long this video is, but I mean, this is the real deal. Sometimes it takes me 20 minutes to get the raw draft out, and then we go back and we refine, and I'll probably refine this a little bit more too before I actually send it out. Like this is quite clunky, so maybe I can get this down a little bit. But you get the idea. Sometimes it takes longer. And then now I have these little huérfanos over here. I don't know what to do with them, but I'll figure that out later. Okay, thanks guys. Hope this was helpful. See you later.